Welcome to my demonstration of the Trellix Network Investigator, part of our NDR suite. And this is specifically around a simple workflow to investigate some potentially anomalous behavior. There are a number of different ways to start an investigation. One of them is through looking at top threats. Another one would be looking through the MITRE attack matrix that we see here. We can create a search manually. But one of the nice ways to do this is we can just look at this dashboard and get an understanding of what's happening. And we can look at under the MITRE attack matrix and see that there's a command and control tactics and techniques that are being utilized. And this might look pretty interesting to us, right? There's a number of things we can look at. We can look through the heat map, but looking at this under this remote access, we see that there's one host who's exhibited some sort of malicious or potentially bad behavior with a remote access software. And if we know our environment, we say that there's nothing that should be doing that, we can click on this to get a better understanding. So since this is a hyperlink and we're able to click on it, it brings me directly into an area where it's filtered out the alerts specifically to this type of capability. Now you'll notice all these different functions that we have here, and one of them is that open SSH connection detected. We see that we found this through one of our Trellix IPSs. It is medium severity, so we can delve a little bit more into this. We'll see that it is target port 22, but let's look a little bit deeper into what this looks like. So we can select this alert, and when we open it, we notice that it's showing connection details, right? And it looks like more information. We can look at the attack details itself. It was a policy violation, but it still looked kind of interesting because it was a command and control. We can look at the raw JSON if that's up your alley and that's where your analyst needs to go. But under this asset details, one of the interesting things is I want to get a little bit more information about this. And with the ability to do this with our NDR Network Investigator, we're able to add it to a query. So instead of manually entering in our query, we're able to add it by saying I want to see the source IP to the target IP. And I want to see other ports, so not just port 22. And then I'd also select the attack timeline. So it's going to put it into this attack timeline dashboard for me. And I'm going to submit this. As it goes and fetches this data, you're going to notice it brings up another investigator screen. And this is actually the search dashboard where we could have typed in the query specifically for this, but it was a much easier way for us to do it previously. And it brings us the attack timeline. You'll notice it's giving us information before and after the attack. It shows us some DNS traffic, shows us some flow traffic, and you'll notice there's also some file info, which is kind of interesting when you look at it. And as we look through this, here's our attack, this is our flow, we can see a little bit more information. We also get our heat map of the source and destination location. We get file transferred information, right? So you'll notice that shows an attachment. We could view the JSON from this, showing other information about that. Scrolling down, it gives us the events specifically from this table here, showing us the type of information we're seeing. So that one's the alert, here's SMTP. But this actually looks really interesting to us because the source transport port was over port 80 and it was file. And if you look at what this is, it should have been over 22. So we're going to come back to this and look at this right here. Just as a note, this can show us some connections as well, coming from which port, going out to which destination IP address, source and destination. Again, this visual really helps us get an understanding of, is this potentially malicious behavior? Now, scrolling back up, you'll see this area right here where we have that file info. So what we're going to do is we're going to reconstruct this and get some more information of what happened around this file transfer, this file info. And the way we do it is we come up to this right here and we click on reconstruct. And as it loads my reconstruction of this, we see that it's actually downloading all of the raw packets from this file transfer. So here we see which direction it went, which direction it came from, any of the packet details that we're looking for, and this might look familiar to some of you analysts out there, but it did this for us very quickly and very easily. We could download the PCAP, we could follow the stream if we wanted to, all of these are actionable. We can also go and look at the web information. Again, remember this is a web attack, We can see the sanitized HTML or even the raw unsanitized. So this is giving us a little bit of a user-friendly information about what just happened. But what I'm more interested in as the analyst is the artifacts of what we've seen. So you'll notice it was that file info transfer, and we have a couple options here. So now we see that we have the actual file. We could technically download it to maybe analyze it a little bit further, or we could send it off to our virtualization technology to be able to analyze it and send it through our sandbox. So there's a number of things we can do. We can download the artifact, we could store that PCAP, we can investigate it more by merged PCAPs with it. But in that really quick 5-minute time period, I was able to see a potential issue and run through a quick investigation and get to this downloaded or possibly malicious file to do more of my investigation. So very easily, utilizing our network investigator, we created a workflow that helped my analysts go from step A all the way to almost step, M, further on this investigation very, very quickly. I hope this was really helpful for you to get an understanding of where that works, and then check out my next video for some more information about Network Investigator. Have a great day. Thanks.